Bună seara! Chiar că este seară, aproape noapte. Și pentru că la ceas de noapte trebuie să avem și prezentări de arhitectură, vă spun bună seara, numele meu este Florin Mindirigiu, reprezint Share Architects și îmi face deosebită plăcere să deschid ultimul panel din cadrul MAST. În același timp, cu toate mulțumirile pentru OAR Iași, pentru Ordinul Arhitecților din Iași, pentru Ordinul Arhitecților din România în general, pentru ceea ce face pentru arhitectură și pentru faptul că și anul acesta ne-au invitat pentru acest panel. Eu aș fi vrut să... Așa. Bun. Foarte pe scurt aș dori să încep acest panel prin a vă invita în mod călduros pe 6 și 7 noiembrie la București, la Forumul de Arhitectură și Inginerie Share. Ca și anul trecut, în prima zi, lucrăm pe două conferințe. Una este pentru protecția la foc a fațadelor și a doua este pe sustenabilitatea fațadelor. Deci două conferințe care merg în paralel pe parcursul zilei. Anul acesta, ca și păstrând tradiția, Share Architects a invitat 4 studiouri de arhitectură din România să prezinte opera de arhitectură și le aveți aici pe ecran, doamna Iulia Stanciu, domnul Radu Teacă, domnul Răzvan Dracea și domnul Ștefan Pășcuț. Am avut în vedere să avem cumva o distribuție națională pe întreaga țară. Bineînțeles, pe ziua de 7 este o zi rezervată arhitecturii internaționale. Scurt, vreau să vă adresez o invitație, dacă vreți să aveți plăcerea de a participa pe 2 decembrie la o conferință pentru arhitectură avansată la Istanbul, poate faceți și un pic de shopping. E o conferință care se va desfășura într-o clădire emblematică pentru Istanbul, purtând semnătura lui Renzo Piano. Este vorba de Modern Art Museum, amplasată pe malul Bosforului. Birouri mari, anul acesta la Istanbul, le aveți aici proiectate pe scurt. Practic, conferința de la Istanbul reprezintă o colecție de birouri importante în care vrem să vedem modul în care research-ul și cercetarea pe care ei o fac în cadrul birourilor, cum au aplicat-o în cadrul marilor proiecte recente din întreaga lume. Tocmai am încheiat zilele trecute o conferință la Veneția, tot pe aceeași topic de 𝐿𝑥, la care am avut un om extraordinar, arhitectul de origine japoneză 𝐽𝑒. Aici este o poză de la Universitatea de Arhitectură din Veneția și o scurtă poză de la lucrările conferinței. Și aseară, pentru cine a avut plăcerea, dacă nu ați avut timp, vă invit să o faceți până duminică. La invitația Ordinului, am adus la Iași această expoziție călătoare Share Awards, pe care, prin amabilitatea doamnei arhitect Iuliana Damir, care îi mulțumesc foarte mult, am construit-o la Iași și va sta până duminică. Acestea au fost câteva news-uri din partea Share, vă mulțumesc foarte mult. Înainte de a trece la arhitecții internaționali, aș vrea să-l invit pe Ștefan Simion, bunul prieten Ștefan Simion de la lui Königstal, care sigur are ceva noutăți de adus.
Bună ziua, bună seara. O să intru abrupt în subiect cu o temă destul de O temă care o abordați foarte des în proiectele pe care le creați, astfel încât am ieșit un pic în afara cutiei, dar de fapt o să intru în cutie, în sensul în care tema va fi despre shadow box, ce înseamnă un shadow box, și știu că există o preocupare din partea noastră vis-a-vis de modul cum se vede o clădire, cum amprentează această construcție clădirea, astfel încât prezentarea se va axa pe un subiect care a fost dezvoltat și o cercetare făcută de 𝐒𝐂𝐀𝐑𝐄 vis-a-vis de modurile în care se pot realiza constructiv, cum se poate realiza constructiv acest tip de element, astfel încât pot să afirm că am avut o preocupare la un moment dat referitor la partea de rezistență la foc, asupra modului în care să realizăm constructiv și să facem o testare. Am avut un fel de sondaj în piață cu prelucrătorii, cu fabricanții de tâmplărie, în zona arhitecților, și am venit la o concluzie încât atât de divers este modul și abordarea, încât nu puteam să generăm o standardizare asupra acestui element. În cele din urmă am renunțat la la această acțiune. Ceea ce vreau să parcurgem în următoarele slide-uri, o să trecem destul de repede, reprezintă modul și ceea ce trebuie să răspundă un tip de element. Practic, 𝐒𝐂𝐀 a făcut și a testat un tip de element de shadow box în diverse variante constructive, și vizual, și din punct de vedere al abordării tipului de sticlă utilizat și a modului constructiv, cum am spus, ce se întâmplă în interior. De asemenea, deci s-a dezvoltat această cercetare pe parcursul a 2 ani și există varianta efectiv în care un container a fost echipat cu anumite tipuri de elemente, cu senzori pe el, și a fost expus într-un climă temperată, o variantă în laborator cu lumină artificială și o variantă simulată. Practic, ce trebuie să rezolve un shadow box? Ce ne deranjează foarte mult? Ne deranjează când apare condens, ne uităm dimineața la fațade, la diverse fațade și vedem că avem aburi pe condens. De asemenea, practic asta este datorată din cauza umidității din interior, supraîncălzirea, deci există riscul ca anumite elemente adiacente acestui element constructiv să devină corpuri radiante. Corpuri radiante atât căldură cât și temperatură, adică să facă frig. De asemenea, un alt element care ne deranjează este contaminarea. Deci, practic, pot intra insecte înăuntru, emisia gazelor, în cazul în care în interiorul acestui tip de element se dezvoltă niște temperaturi foarte mari, astfel încât elementele constructive încep să emite gaze și produc o contaminare a suprafețelor vitrate. Practic, aici sunt vizualizate deci cele 4 modele care au fost studiate și în primul model observăm o variantă în care este foarte uzitată în piață, în sensul în care se pune primul rând de geam termoizolator, după aia se vine cu vată minerală, imediat în proximitate, și sticla este vopsită, vedem un element opac. După aceea, al doilea tip de element este cel în care ne depărtăm cu partea, practic, creăm o cavitate, dar sticla este de asemenea vopsită. Al patrulea element este un element care, practic, sticla este transparentă și tabla din spate este vopsită în diverse nuanțe, diferite culori. Practic, asta este una din cele mai uzitate variante, care practic conferă unei fațade o neutralitate, în sensul în care poți să folosești sticla utilizată la etajul superior și prin modul în care folosești materialul din spate poți să dai o neutralitate fațadei, să nu percepi foarte agresiv acest element. După care, tipul 3 și tipul 4, practic s-au exersat diverse moduri de ventilare. Tipul 3 este modul care se regăsește și în catalogele de fabricație de la 𝐒𝐂𝐀𝐀. Practic, ceea ce vreau să arăt în următoarele slide-uri este faptul că s-au măsurat temperaturi, practic în interiorul cavităților se dezvoltă temperaturi de 70-80 de grade, 80 de grade este o temperatură critică în interiorul unei cavități de tip shadow box. Practic, de la acea temperatură, materialele încep să intre în reacție posibil. Astfel încât au fost senzorii plasați în diverse poziții. Testul a fost făcut pe o perioadă, deci măsurătorile au fost făcute pe o perioadă de 2 ani. O perioadă foarte relevantă din punct de vedere al diverselor fluctuații și diverse moduri în care, practic, dacă măsori la un moment dat temperatura pe suprafața unei traverse orizontale, ajunge undeva la 34-50 de grade, este o temperatură care începem să ne frigem, dacă punem mâna. Ok, am făcut un sumar al temperaturilor, vedem că avem temperaturi de 100 de grade, numărul de zile în care, practic, ce au studiat, numărul de zile în care temperatura este în zona de 80 de grade este de asemenea destul de mare, 97 de zile pe tipul 4, pe tipologia 4, care practic are parte de ventilație redusă prin acele găuri cu diametre mici. Observăm temperaturile, practic temperaturi, cum am spus, de 95-100 de grade au fost măsurate în interior în funcție de perioade ale zilei pe o anumită perioadă de lună. Deci, cum vorbeam, este acest subiect de siguranță la atingere. Odată este varianta în care este prea cald, dar este deranjantă și perioada în care, practic, este prea rece și atunci convecția aerului te simți rece în proximitatea acest tip de fațadă. Varianta testată în laborator, acolo sunt imagini din testul laboratoarele de la 𝐒𝐂𝐀, din laboratorul de testare. Varianta cu lămpi, în care practic a fost simulată radiația solară. Și, de asemenea, diverse variante de testare în care, practic, s-au testat cu geamul în diverse variante, cu factor solar foarte bun, geam simplu, cu tabla din spate vopsită în 3 variante de culori. Varianta cu culoarea negru a fost cea mai defavorabilă, varianta în care tabla nu a fost vopsită a fost cea mai bună din punct de vedere al temperaturilor măsurate în cavitate. De asemenea, în acest test din laborator, practic, varianta de ventilare nu a prezentat diferențe majore, deși în varianta măsurată efectiv, în condiții reale, practic, au fost sesizate diferențe de temperatură în cavitate și interesant este că și atunci, deși avem impresia că dacă ventilăm acel spațiu, există șansa ca aerul să nu crească la o temperatură foarte mare. Ei bine, nu se întâmplă acest lucru, chiar practic crește și se încălzește suprafața. De aceea, deci în construcție trebuie analizat oarecum foarte clar poziția fațadei, adică abordările trebuie văzute și din această poziționare și din punct de vedere constructiv și de dimensiunea elementelor. Asta este variantă de simulare numerică, practic, în care definești materiale, caracteristicile lor și obții informații. Acest mod de a obține informații este unul ușor și necostisitor, nu foarte costisitor, este la îndemână. Ok? Deci, din punct de vedere al recomandărilor, practic, sticla trebuie să fie securizată la exterior, coeficientul de transfer termic trebuie să fie de asemenea mic, factorul solar influențează, 2 minute mai am, ok, tablă casetată, fixare, trebuie să fixeze astfel încât să păstreze tanșeitatea elementului Și nu în ultimul rând vorbim de un element important pe care îl reprezintă zona de parapet, de shadow box, este practic rezistența la foc. Rezistența la foc care în cele ce urmează sunt două variante. Varianta clasică, care o veste proastă, nu este testată în România, deci este această variantă de separație între etaje, unde practic este făcută de cei de la Sci-Rise, dar nu este chiar tocmai ce trebuie. Vorbim aici de ce shadow box-ul, rezistența la foc, practic vedem elementul de parapet și varianta care a fost prezentată în urmă cu un an și ceva la târgul de la München, practic este o soluție de parapet constructivă cu rezistență la foc 60-90 de minute și care este livrată de 𝐒𝐇𝐀𝐑𝐄. Și o să vedeți în continuare una din modurile. Nu știu să le fac să se miște. Dați dumneavoastră click acolo, pe ambele imagini. Totuși ai. Ok, deci una din idei este că varianta clasică, practic, nu funcționează, nu se înțeleg? Nu. Ok, deci varianta în care este folosită soluție normală de parapet, practic, după 30 de minute și etajul superior este afectat și distrus de puteți și pe cealaltă. Ok, deci focul pornește, aici or să vedeți timpii care sunt diferiți. După 30 de minute focul este se propagă la etajul superior, iar în cazul variantei cu parapetul rezistent la foc shadow box-ul de 30 de minute, practic este distrus aproape și etajul. Se observă că transmisia se face și prin elementul vertical, temperatura crește foarte mult, asta este o simulare, observăm timpii care sunt aproximativ la fel și modul în care se transmite și în varianta fără, iar aceasta este varianta constructivă care o propunem în următoarea perioadă pentru piața din România vis-a-vis de utilizarea acestui tip de element, chiar dacă el se duce un pic într-o variantă de timp de 60-90 de minute, nu este pentru 30 de minute, dar el poate fi un atu în ceea ce reprezintă valoarea unei clădiri și modul în care practic ea își menține valoarea vis-a-vis de provocările pe care le reprezintă tehnologia în timp. Ceea ce observăm nu se mai vede bine, deci ăsta este varianta în care în 60 de minute etajul superior nu a fost afectat de incendiu. Uitați, nu știu cum se vede acolo, nu se vede prea bine. Și ne apropiem de ultimul. Așa, aici, cum la sfârșitul prezentării, este o poveste vis-a-vis de ceea ce nu se vede și aceste zone acoperite și ceea ce, cum pot fi afectate de o netratare corespunzătoare. De exemplu, observați acolo în acel imagine, practic, cum tabla este bombată. Faptul că este bombată înseamnă că a intrat aer foarte mult în cavitate și din această, deci ce a însemnat? A fost utilizată o tablă foarte subțire, tabla s-a făcut pernuță și testul a picat. Deci, practic, infiltrația de aer sau etanșeitatea la aer a fost compromisă total din cauza unei utilizări a materialelor necorespunzătoare. Și asta este cam ce se vede când nu este închis totul. Către cine trebuie să fac acolo? Nu. Ok. Da, cam asta este prezentarea pe care mă bucur că am putut să o susțin în fața noastră și vă mulțumesc pentru și vă doresc proiecte frumoase și provocatoare.
seara! Îmi revine misiunea și onoarea de a conduce ultimul panel al acestei întâlniri de astăzi. Am să încerc să fac lucrurile cât mai scurte și mai interesante pentru dumneavoastră și pentru aceasta dați-mi voie să intrăm direct în subiect și să invit pe scenă pe distinșii noștri oaspeți. So please, Peter, please, Rainer and Ideal, come on the stage and join us, please. Take a look, please, everyone, how you wish. So I will speak in English because this part of the session it's dedicated to our guests. I was very well prepared with a lot of materials, but because of the advanced hour, I will make more interesting and short our interventions. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues and esteemed guests, we are 2 hours late. So, I am honored to chair this discussion in the shortest way I can. We touch on some of the most critical issues facing cities and urban development today. As architects, urban planners, and designers, we must constantly find ways to strike a delicate balance between preserving the past and embracing innovation for the future. Today we are fortunate to be joined by 3 professionals who bring their global perspectives and experience to help us rethink how cities can grow in sustainable and inclusive ways while remaining true to their identity. First, we have Peter Murray, a highly respected architectural writer, curator, and commentator, who has made significant contributions to shaping urban discourse. He is the co-founder of New London Architecture, an influential organization that fosters debate and knowledge exchange on the built environment. Peter is also president of the Temple Bar Trust in the UK, an organization dedicated to promoting architecture and the built heritage on the City of London. With over 60 years of experience, Peter has played a pivotal role in promoting architectural awareness and public engagement. He founded the London Festival of Architecture, now one of the largest architectural festivals in the world, and has held editorial position at renewed architectural publications like Building Design and RIAB Journal. His career spans curating major architectural exhibitions, such as the Royal Academy's New Architecture, the work of Foster, Rogers, and Stirling, and championing the importance of well-designed public spaces and sustainable urban growth. Peter's deep understanding of urbanism and his dedication to fostering dialogue around city planning make him an invaluable voice in the global conversation on how cities can evolve while preserving their architectural and cultural heritage. Thank you very much, Peter, to be with us. Next, we welcome Ideal Vesa, the Executive Director and co-founder of the architecture studio Madden Group in Pristina, Kosovo. Since its founding in 2009, the studio has been at the forefront of advancing architecture and interior design in Kosovo and beyond. Ideal's contributions to modern architecture in a rapidly developing region make him an influential voice in discussions on blending contemporary design with cultural heritage. Together, we will explore the dynamics between tradition and modernity, a topic that is deeply relevant to cities like Iași, for example, which are evolving rapidly, yet grounded in history. Now we are also joined by Rainer Schmidt, a highly respected landscape architect and urban planner from Munich, Germany. Rainer has been designing and implementing projects since 1991, leading a firm with offices in Munich, Berlin, and Brandenburg, and specializing in large-scale landscape architecture, environmental planning, and urban design. His work extends internationally with a focus on regions such as North Africa, Middle East, and Asia. Rainer's approach harmonizes urban development with natural environments, creating spaces that balance design, function, and sensory experience. Since 1991, he has also been a professor of landscape architecture and design at both University of Applied Sciences in Berlin and has held guest professorship at Peking University in China and UC Berkeley in the United States. His global perspective and focus on sustainability make him a leading voice in integrating nature into urban landscapes. So our valuable guest now will be invited to make this presentation, and after the presentation, instead to have let's say a lot of discussions, I propose you to bring some questions from the public. If not, we'll share together the conclusion of their approach regarding the public space, architecture, landscaping, and identity and values of the cities. So, Peter, please, you are the first. The floor is yours. Please.
Can I use this? And hold this. Good. Well, I'm very honoured to be here in this lovely city. I've come from London, which I can see some of the changes here we're also doing in London. But I think a lot of my comments are driven by... I was listening to a podcast only yesterday from Kenneth Frampton, Professor Kenneth Frampton, who probably one of our most important architectural critics of the last half century. His book on critical regionalism, really very important. And he said the impact of cars on cities has been apocalyptic, i.e. that cars have really destroyed the centres of our cities over the last 75 years, and our job today is to reverse that trend and to mend our cities into places for people rather than places for tin boxes, dangerous tin boxes as well. So what I was going to start to talk about was what if you were a mayor of a city and you wanted to promote your city, what would you do? So maybe 20 years ago, you would look for a starchitect to come and build you a big opera house, a big building, a museum, or some other major structure that would become the icon. So you would get Frank Gehry to build you a Guggenheim, or Zaha Hadid to build an opera house. But actually what happens today is that mayors want to change cities and the way people use them at ground level. Outside the building, it's not the buildings, it's the spaces between the buildings which are now seen as the iconic aspect of cities. And to a certain extent, the icon of Paris is actually always, maybe it's the Eiffel Tower visually, but the most important space within Paris has always been the Champs-Élysées. And here, so a few years ago, Anne Hidalgo, the mayor of Paris, promotes the idea of reducing the number of cars in the center of Paris, pedestrianizing around the Arc de Triomphe, and greening the Champs-Élysées and the other streets coming off the Haussmann plan in a very beautiful way, and which would make it a much more accessible, more human, and more people-oriented city. But Anne Hidalgo was one of the first mayors really to push that in a big way in recent years. But quite recently, the mayor of New York has also come up with this idea of now refreshing Fifth Avenue. Fifth Avenue is what I think 6 lanes of cars at the moment. And so the idea is reduce it to 2 lanes, increase the scale of the sidewalk for people to use it. but also most importantly to add green into the city. And greening the city is one of, I think, the key aspects that we see today in the way that we actually deliver somewhere which obviously is more sustainable, but also more pleasant, good for health, good for mental health as well. And also in London now, our mayor is beginning to get into this act as well. This is Oxford Street, which is our main retail street in London. And there have been ideas for pedestrianising this for the last 50 years. It hasn't really worked very well as it could do as a street. But always there is a reaction of the local people against pedestrianisation because they don't want the neighbouring streets to be full of buses and also in some cases cars. And the local politicians keep on stopping the changes happening because they're nervous of what the voters will do. But quite recently, the mayor has now taken on new powers to take over this particular space from the local boroughs, because in London, it's the local boroughs who actually determine the planning policies of their area. The mayor strategically has taken this over and is now in the process of delivering a fully pedestrianised street, which indeed is only for pedestrians. It even excludes cyclists. I'm a great cyclist myself, and I don't normally like being excluded from pedestrian areas, but what has now happened is that we have so many electric bikes in London going so fast that they do seem to be much more dangerous than they were a few years ago. So the changing nature of public space in London, well, the major projects was Trafalgar Square, which is probably our most important public space. And this was redesigned in a project by Norman Foster back in 2000. It was a sort of millennial celebration to do this, which basically closed off one of the streets. And this was, before the changes were made, this was a busy traffic street here. It was made into a public space, creating much better access into the National Gallery, which is the building on the left, and also to the church at the end of the street there. So much more accessible, much better for people to use. I think that, one of the things looking at it now that we went through a period where everyone thought that landscaping needed to be hard landscaping, and today there is much more understanding that we need greenery in the cities, and before it was thought that maintenance was too difficult and more expensive, cheaper to have paving. But actually I think that now, if we did the project now, it would be a much greener project than it is there. And the interesting thing about this pedestrianisation, that it originally came from an idea which was created by Richard Rogers, who, as you heard in the introduction, I did an exhibition in the Royal Academy in London in 1986, where Richard Rogers produced a scheme which actually suggested not just the pedestrianisation of Trafalgar Square, but also a street that goes down to the River Thames and creating a park all along the River Thames, which would be beautiful, but none of that has happened apart from the pedestrianisation here of Trafalgar Square, which certainly is a great improvement, and it reduces the impact of the traffic on tourists and local people. Now, this is the first London Festival of Architecture, which I started in 2004. And this street is a street which historically cows would be driven to the market, which is down at the bottom of the street. They would be brought rather like in the Wild West. They would come in great herds of cows, and they would end up here where they would be slaughtered. And so you can see the street is quite wide. Normally during the day, that is 4 lanes of traffic. And we thought that for this weekend, we would make an exhibition of it as a very different sort of space. So we put grass over the whole of the street, and we got some examples of the exact same type of cow which would have been driven down the street in the 18th century, which is when they stopped doing it. And the reason for that was to illustrate to people, one, why the street was wider. It was wider because it had to accommodate cows, but also because it was a wider street, that rather than being 4 lanes of traffic, it could actually be a place where people could enjoy, and as you can see, sit out, have a picnic, and experience it in a very different way. And one of the things that I really find very surprising in this is that you can take an ordinary street like this, put grass on it, and people's relationship with the street changes immediately. And when we were here, we were putting down the grass during the night, and at 4 o'clock in the morning, people from a local nightclub came out, and they just lay on the grass at night and probably going to sleep, but just treating it in a way that you would never treat a space that was tarmacked and full of traffic. And that's an instant reaction that landscaping can make to people and their response to the city. Equally, during COVID, there was a change in the way that we saw the relationship between a lot of activities that happen in the city and our streets. And this is a picture of a street which was opened just for restaurants during COVID. The whole street was changed, the traffic was kept out, and people used the street in just a very different way. That has been reversed to a certain extent after COVID, but nevertheless, I think it has changed the way people see the streets. And this is in an area called Soho, which is a very lively nighttime area. And there is now a strong move to pedestrianize the whole of that space, particularly in the evenings when it's a lot of people are coming there. And the attitudes that were created during COVID to this changing relationship between buildings and the street will have a long-lasting effect, I think, in the way that we perceive cities. Equally, during COVID, in order to allow people to walk more in the local neighborhoods, there was closing off of streets, reducing car speeds in residential areas, and making them more friendly to pedestrians and cyclists. And so we have a lot of these areas, low traffic neighborhoods, which are now being spread out across the city. They often have serious and sometimes critical reactions from motorists and car drivers, but the move is there and things are changing and improving the quality of life within those streets. And this is within the central business district. This, up until quite recently, was a landscaped space, but it had some grass in it, but it was not a green space. It's now been renovated and changed over, only after sort of 20 years of creation, a change away from hard landscaping into something which is much greener and much more relaxing for people during their time in the city to come out and have their lunch or eat their sandwiches in that space. And even where it's impossible to dig down to actually put in trees and because of the roots and so on, this is Regent Street, one of the key retail streets in London, now with greening around it, temporary type spaces, because we can't put the roots in to create some green and some amelioration of the environment. And this is a historic street outside the Courtauld Gallery, a classical building. King's College University is here as well, and there's a very fine Sir Christopher Wren church at the end of this vista. And this is a very, or was a very busy and dangerous road space, which has now been converted into a space like this. And this is not just about the idea of changing one little piece of city, but it fits into a whole policy from the Mayor of London and the plan for London that people should move around by active travel. And by active travel, we mean travelling by public transport, walking or cycling. At the moment, some 60% of all journeys in London are active travel journeys. Either people will travel some of the way by train and they'll walk the end of their distance. Some people will cycle the whole of their journey, and some people will have a mix of all three. So all these various public space interventions are a part of making walking much pleasanter, connecting up spaces, making the use of the streets healthier, reducing pollution from cars, reducing noise, and actually making the streets of the city much more people-friendly. And this is another view of that same area, the Courtauld Gallery and Somerset House, key landmarks in London, is the building facing us there. And this was a street just outside an office that I was in for a number of years, and it was recently turned into a park like this, which is partly as a result of the fact that we implemented a congestion charge in London back in 2004 that reduced the number of cars coming into London by some 30%. Had a big improvement. Unfortunately, the spare space has now been taken up by Amazon delivering lots of small packages to people in vans, and so we still have congestion despite the fact that there are fewer cars. But a lot of streets, not used very much cars, are now being delivered as parks, which can be used by local people, both for children to play in, but for workers to sit and contemplate and to eat their lunch. This is another view of the same scheme. And again, this is an area which has been improved quite recently. That looks like that now. And that's another view of that one. This was a traffic roundabout until 3 or 4 years ago, and that is now a public park with a cafe and much improved people-oriented spaces. And this is a part of a major new redevelopment, regeneration project at King's Cross in London. You can see the industrial buildings there. It's a part of an old industrial and railway site. And it's a space which is very much geared up towards people. People come and just watch a screen the other side of the canal, or indeed just come and watch the canal itself. And this big public space created as a part of the development in front of the historic building on the right, which is a large granary building, which is converted into an art school. So this is a really active public space, both for people in the local community, but also those working in the office areas. And this is a view of the City of London and some of the changes which have happened there over the last few years in what is a car light policy. And here you can see streets where all the cars have been taken out. New buildings like Norman Foster's building for Bloomberg has a new street from a historic route, but a new street built through the building. And other streets here which 5 years ago would be full of traffic are now comfortable pedestrian spaces. And they're all connected up in a very positive way, so people can get to work without having to jump in front of traffic, and it creates a very different environment that one had a few years ago. And this is a really central part of the city, and cyclists and buses come through, but no other traffic. It means that walking is much more relaxed, that actually it's a very quiet space, there's very little noise, so you can hear people speak, and it is surrounded by monuments to the city, both older ones as well as the new towers today. So that has actually changed the whole character of that very busy part of the city, and that is one of the leaders in the idea of active travel in London. And instead of just 80%, at the moment, 93% of people travel into work in this area of the central business district. 93% travel to work either by train, by walking or cycling. So it's a very sustainable part of the city. And that is one of the reasons why it is possible, even with a sustainability agenda, that the local borough is able to approve taller buildings because they actually are more sustainable, not within the way they operate as individual buildings, but the impact they have on the wider city, which is very much related to the wider London plan developed by Richard Rogers back in 2000, which looked at cities like Hong Kong, where the density of Hong Kong was so much less, providing far less CO2 than, say, somewhere like Los Angeles, very low-rise, spread-out city. So condensed cities, compact cities, are more sustainable than sprawl. And this is just a sketch I did of that area where we were just looking at in Bank with those important buildings, that actually having buses and cyclists going through at the moment in separate roads is just a stage of a change from having a city where you have deadly tin boxes mixing with pedestrians through to cities where we have public spaces where people can enjoy walking, they enjoy the space, it is healthier, it is greener, and it is a city designed for people rather than the movement of goods. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter, and thank you for your presentation. I feel like your presentation touched perfect our conference theme, duality, because in this context of urban spaces, duality may refer to the balance between public and private spaces and the tensions that arise between these two forces. As cities grow, private developments often encroach upon public areas, raising important questions about how we use and share the urban space. So it was exactly you told us and show us. So let's go further. I invite now for the next presentation, 𝐒𝐂𝐈𝐍𝐄𝐀. Please, 𝐒𝐂𝐂𝐈𝐍𝐄𝐀.
Please. Hello. Thank you very much. It is a pleasure for me to be part of this table. Today, I will represent 3 projects with 3 different ways of solution that we connect with tradition, and also we connect outside and inside in interior design. First, we are a studio of architecture in Kosovo. Kosovo is a young country with opportunities, too many opportunities, and we try to explore, we try to find a different way of doing architecture and doing a different way of solution, and so we connect together different discipline of art. Always our work it's represented in an international platform, and we try to be part of an international platform of architecture. We connect architecture in representing in different way of examples. This presentation is mixed with some videos. We try to present our work and through the stories, and in two of our projects we have also short videos that told us how we can do it. Home, it's a store of clothes, and we concept store through the construction, through the urban development in our country that connect two floors, because one floor is existing, and we designed just the second floor, and we incorporate a construction through the design, and we merging exterior with interior with scaffolding, who is a part of the construction everywhere in our country, and we mixed the feeling from outside to inside. Also, the design of the interior is very minimalistic, that show the clothes in the front. This store is mixed with a coffee bar that always try to find a way of doing better this design. This is how it looks. This store is a part of a shopping mall in Pristina. Always in our projects we try to involve the art, like a multidisciplinary art, to complete the projects. Here we have a short video that we can show. Sorry, can we have a volume?
Që përkrajnë njëra tjetrën.
Është një dyqan konceptesh me shumë llojshmëri të brendeve për meshkuj, pak edhe për femra, po që
Missing also subtitles in English.
Shmeku urban. Kjo ka qenë pika fillestare me cilën na ju kemi qas projektit.
You don't have, okay. Because without subtitles in English.
Mes të dy etazheve që qysh i fton njerëzit cilë vijnë prej kësaj pjese, i fton
the people, how we can connect the second floor with first floor through the stairs.
Lartësia ta jep ndjenjen e hapësirës, edhe në të njëjtën kohë e ekspozon strukturën dhe instalimet të cilat fuqizohen me tubat e neonit. Në këtë mënyrë na kemi arrit që me e bo një hapësirë më të veçantë edhe me të bo komplet me haru që jeni një hapësirë krejtësisht të mbyllur të qendrës tregtare.
Qysh mundem me fut brenda të jashtëm? Kjo ka qenë pyetja.
How we can put outside to inside.
𝐵𝐶 është një kompani e cila mirret me prodhimin e skeleve kryesisht për tregun evropian. Mirë po kësaj here e kanë pas një sfidë tjetër, se kemi pas një kërkesë me bo skelet cilat shërbejnë për vendosjen e produkteve. Domethënë kemi shtime një sfidë jo shumë të lehtë, po megjithatë bashkëpunimi ka bërë që rezultati me qenë mjaft interesant. Skelët që kemi përdor kanë qenë me nuanca të hertës. Po edhe backgroundi i kemi përdor perdet në mënyrë që i gjithë objekti është bo një tërësi e ka vendos produktin në fokus. Domethënë prapavia e qetë ka bu që ngjyrat e secilit produkt të theksohen.
Everything is in a gray scale to see the products in the front. Also we use the mirrors
Pasqyret me dimensione të mëdha mbrapa shankut edhe
to
brenda
expand
skeleve
the
ndihmojnë
space.
përmendjen e dyfishimit të hapësirës. Po edhe në të njëjtën kohë shërbejmë për funksionin primar, që është me i provu sendet para se me i ble.
Kërkesa e klientit dhe produkti na kanë orientuar në një projekt të çmendur. Realisht propozimi i parë ka qenë i
Always a
tillë.
request from client.
Kundër
It's a
entuziazmit
part
të dy
of
palëve,
solution
u deshta
and
kemi
part
një propozim të
of
dytë.
how we deal with clients
produkti
and
është
how to
fokus
find
dhe
a
pjesa e
solution
interiërit
for a
të
better
jetë më e qetë. Kompromisi
finish.
me klientin dhe bashkëpunimi janë çelësi i suksesit të një projekti. Ti del shopping, unë po ula me vini kafe, këtu nuk funksionon. Se këtu I ki
At
dyja
the same times you can drink a coffee and also you can buy clothes.
Se këtu din me të kushtu një kafe 500 euro.
The second project is the red goat. The name is from the part of red goats that we have in that area. This is a private house, and we try to connect with nature, and also we try to take fragments of family to connect the traditional, to connect the traditional with the future, the part of the emotion and the part of the memories of the family. This is my father, because it's my house, and the tradition of the father's craft, it's making a horse, clothes for horse, and we try to involve in the part of the design. We try to involve the leather and the details of the father's tradition. Here are the floors, and we can see that there are 3 floors with different function. Basement is for technical uses, and also it's a common space. First floor it's a living room, and the bedrooms are in the second floor. Here we can see some views. This is a concrete, precast concrete. Also, this way of construction for our country, it's new way, and we try to push boundaries and to find a new solution for construction. Here are some details of leather that we try to connect the traditional of family with the design of interior design. And also we have a video. I think we have subtitles.
Arkitektat janë gjithmonë luk me natyrën.
Just can you
Lukta
volume?
është qysh mu përqafu me natyrën. Qysh më arrit me kriju një raport me natyrën që me bashkjetu me ta. E kjo shtëpi është pikërisht ai shembull ku vrehet arkitektura. Ai egoizmi I arkitektit nuk mungon, po në anën tjetër e ka kriju një vend të vetin brenda natyrës, brenda formës, brenda parcelës edhe brenda kodrës. Studio jonë karakterizohet me projekte të veçanta dhe të dedikume. Në këtë rast, shtëpia ime më së miri e prezanton këtë. Po në njëjtën kohë prezanton edhe familjen time. Si arkitekt karakterizona me arkitekturën brutale në kombinim me arkitekturën minimale. Këto janë ato dy polet e kundërta të arkitekturës që nështë mas shumë ti i përqafoj apo mas shumë ti i përfartsoj. Në shikim të parë, kur është shtëpin, është një murit madh betonit me ngjyrë pek, me një hapje të vetme në to. Në momentin që ti e sheh një pemë mrena e cila merr dritën prej lart, e kupton që aty ka jetë. Në momentin kur e hap derën, krijohet një qetësi. E përjeton atë privatësinë që ambienti e ka krijuar për familjen. Shtëpia e ka dhe një mundësi që të kemi qasje direkt në oborrin e përparme, nga ana perëndimore. Kjo lejon një funksion më të mirë gjatë ditëve të verës, ku oborri është pjesë e rëndësishme e shfrytëzimit të shtëpisë. Qa karakterizojnë fragmente të familjes të cilat i kom trashëgu si elemente të traditës tonë. Për shembull, e kam një kuti gjyshi me gjyshin kur martu, cilën e shfrytëzoj si tavolinë. Pjesën e trojezës bukës e kom marrë prej një apartamenti ma herë që kemi jetu, ku ja kom shtu një pjesë edhe i kom shtu 2 karrika apo një kohë dhe kom xhiros me të kuqe, që e tregon mas miri zhvillimin e familjes edhe ndryshimin e ngjyrave në jetën tonë. Pjesa qendrore është një veshje në anës time, një veshje tradicionale që është si simbol i dashurisë edhe i bashkimit familjes. Si çdo fillim i projektit nis prej një tjetër të bardhë, shtëpia, parcela është e vendosur në këtë mënyrë ku mbrapa e ka veriun edhe hyrja në shtëpi ndodh prej veriut. Orientimi, lindja dhe perëndimi i diellit, domethënë janë faktorët bazik që derivojnë me formën trekëndshme të shtëpisë. Edhe pse para se me ardhë të kjo variant, të kjo formë, kanë qenë disa forma që i kom zhvillu, po gjithmonë tendenca për me pas lidhje me natyrën, është kjo një variant tjetër cila ka qenë shumë e fuqishme, ka qenë dhe kjo vendosja vertikale në parcel, po problemi kryesor që e ka pas kjo, e ka pas okupimin shumë të madh të parcelës dhe njëkohësisht është edhe lidhja me natyrën që e krijoi një hije brenda në parcelë. E kemi pas dhe një zgjidhje tjetër, gjithmonë kjo një farë mënyrë para se me ardhë të forma trekëndsh ka qenë kjo formë që është zhvillu si një trekëndsh i hapur. Kështu që kanë qenë disa varianta, disa skica, derisa kemi ardhur te skica finale, të varianta finale, forma trekëndshit, që është forma e cila apo projekti i cili është ekzekutuar tash. Mënyra e ndërtimit është sfidën veti. Dëshira për me pas një fasadë e cila është më e qëndrueshme me kohë, e pa pane nështë në vendin tonë, ka rezultu që ta kemi një projekt tillë. Shtëpia është ndërtuar me mure të parafabrikuara, ku pjesa e termoizolimit është pjesën e brendshme, edhe të gjitha këto janë punu në fabrikë edhe janë vendosur të gatshme, ka qenë një përvojë e jashtëzakonshme, po në anën tjetër ka qenë edhe një sfidë e papërshkrueshme. Termoizolimi si element i veçantë problematik në këtë rast është muri, cili e ka termoizolimin në mes, edhe lidhja në mes bllokave, domethënë është e bërë në këtë mënyrë që termoizolimi të vazhdoj tutje, kurse betoni të lidhet me pjesën e brendshme, ka qenë si problem kryesor i depërtimit të urave termike brenda shtëpisë. Vlen me përmend edhe sfidat me inxhiniera. Pjesa e qëndrimit ditori ka 9 metra e gjysmë distancë shtyllat. Kjo dëshira për me pas një lidhje me ambientin e jashtëm ka rezultuar me një tra për inxhinierat të paarsyeshëm, që është dashur me bëllë disa përforcime të veçanta pikërisht për me arrit këtë distancë që kur t'i hapim dritaret, pjesa brenda me jashtë me funksionu si një. Secili etazh ose secili nivel e prezanton edhe funksionin brenda atij. Shkallët bëhen skulpturë e ambientit, ndërlidhin katët mes veti, po të njëjtën kohë e japin edhe një emocion të veçantë në secilin kat. Kombinimi i shkallëve rrethore me formën trekantsh, domethënë kanë rezultuar me një kombinim shumë të mirë mes trekantshit edhe rrethit si dy forma gjeometrike mjaft bazike. E lidhin podrumin, në të cilën zhvillohen aktivitete rekreative, përdhesa, ku është pjesa më e rëndësishme e shtëpisë, edhe kati nalt, në të cilën janë të vendosura dhomat e fjetës. Shkallët përfundojnë nalt, ku mbi to është e vendosur një kupollë rrethore. Kupolla e mundson një ajrosje natyrale, edhe ky si një element i qëndrueshmërisë i arkitekturës së qëndrueshme. Pjesa e dhomave të fjetjes është një pjesë e cila është më e qetë, që e tregon atë pjesën e natës, po në njëjtën kohë ka elemente dalluese të secilës dhomë. Secila dhomë është e prezantuar me një detaj të lëkurës që prezanton traditën e familjes, traditën e zanatit babit tanë. Edhe prezanton dëshirat e fëmijëve që çfarë ngjyra kanë pas dëshira ta me pas. Kuzhina është definitivisht vendi jam i preferuar. Si i ri ku pas qef mu bë kuzhinier. E kjo është jetë mas miri që shu pasqyru edhe në dizajnin e kuzhinës. Është një kuzhinë e guximshme me një llojshmëri të ngjyrave dhe me një llojshmëri të materialeve. Ana tjetër, pjesa funksionale, edhe kjo është një zgjidhje kreative brenda kuzhinës. Pishina është ndoshta ajo pjesa më e bukur e shtëpisë. Pishina është një vepër e artit e artistit Jakuferi, e cila është punuar me mozaik minimal. Pishina është si qershia mbi tort në këtë shtëpi, që realisht vepra është e lidhme me dhijat e kuqet cilat gjenden këtë rajon, ku edhe shtëpia e merr emrin dhija e kuqe, apo anglisht the Red Building.
And the last one is a project that are still going. It's agricultural. It's a village of tourist village. What is important in this project is the way of we try to take a traditional solution of how they do it in the past, and we try to connect that with the contemporary architecture. Here it's the transformation of the barn that it's old barn, and we transform the old barn in the welcoming building. Here is the newest one that everything is doing by people of the village, and everything is doing like a traditional way of construction. And this is a new building of the horses that is open in the middle, and everything it's in the part of this show. We connect the concrete also with rocks and the wood. This project is still going, and we are waiting in this year to finish this complex. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. And thank you for your presentation that reveal us some important concepts like connection, outside, inside, mirror, tradition, emotion, memories, family, nature. So these are very, very important. I have a brief question for you before the last presentation. What do you think about the role of the local context in the architectural approach? Because your approaches are very sensitive, and I think you are thinking something very particular, understanding the local context.
Yeah, all the time we try to find a solution with a local artist, and we try to involve them and to make architecture more positive, to make architecture more multifunctional, and together with the artist, our projects also are better than alone. But also we represent the artists everywhere. We inspired each one.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. And now the last presentation made by Mr. Rainer Schmidt. Please.
Last one. It was a long day, I've seen, and yeah, thank you that you are here for the last presentation. Landscape architecture in public space, and very important is that the public space is a business card of a city. And we continue the talk from Peter. Yeah. What is public space, and it's the city squares, the public green, and the streets.
That we agree.
And it's very important. It's very important that this is not in the hand of the civil engineers. It's in the hand by the architects or landscape architects. They have really the right feeling for the pavements, for the furniture, for the tree pits that they really grow and that really can come vivid in the city. And that's very important. What is a city? In which city do we want to live? And that's very important. What is a city? And if you think, you can leave. You can leave now here. If you're not interested, you can leave. You can every theater you can leave. You can leave the cinema, the television. You can switch off. But the city you have to live with your city, with our city. Or you have to leave the city, but then you leave your home. And that's the problem. And this is a thing that we all have more responsibility. Not as architects. All inhabitants has more responsibility for his own city. And that is very important. But by public space, if we look really what's happened, if we look to the old Friedrichstraße in Berlin, and what is this for the atmosphere? How vivid is this? How is this the atmosphere of the different facades? And the vivid structure of the street with all the shops in the basement. And look what's happened. That's after 2000, the same street, same Friedrich Street with new architecture, with architecture without soul, without atmosphere. It is only functionally. It is something what's not inviting. What is inviting for living. And think about tomorrow, today. What kind of city will we want to live in? That's very important. And the thing is, it's changed. Normally, we have looked to the history, the past, to create a new city. But now change the society and the technology. We all think of artificial intelligence, of new form of shopping. We don't go to going in the future in a shop. You all probably are shopping in internet, by Amazon or something like this, and this will totally change. And that's a problem. To change really the future will be change the city. And what is a city? What is a city? What is urbanity? What is living city? And that is all the same. This is density, diversity, atmosphere, space and the proportion, the right proportion, the human scale of planning, and that's important. What we have to do. And it's a new society of workers prefer places that are diverse, tolerant, and open for new ideas. And we need destinations. We need points, streets, squares, public greens with a culture identity of location. We have to go to see why are we going to this point, to this point. And this is very important, very special points to create destinations in the city. And not only functionally, not only that's a very nice design, okay, but no, it's not vivid. It is only paved. It is no concept, not without concept. Or it is green. And also we talk today of the green of Iași. There's a lot of trees, but it's only green. There's no parks. There's no concepts behind this. And this is a point. And there's all this also in Vancouver. It's only green, a lot of trees. And it's only, if you have only ecological things, it's only ecological things. And that's the problem. The only design is also not very only design. We have to think really the urban space that brings space in transition, to bring ideal city of today, to bring this concept planning approaches for society and the reality of today, and a suitable of places in urban development and create places, really create places. So now we're talking a lot of theory and create places. That is a square in Nuremberg, and was a competition, first prize, we won the competition. What we're doing? We're doing what all the Peters show. We have streets and we have pedestrian areas, but we have all the same pavement. The pavement go from the streets over the pedestrian areas, go in it, and then we create a center, a green center with a lot of trees, and bring atmosphere. And if you look to this, where it is the backside of the station, main station of Nuremberg, very big station, and you see a very dense neighborhood here around. And so we have to bring a green inside and a new center for the whole, for the backside of the station. It was the backside entrance. The entrance maybe is the main entrance because the neighborhood around the Südstadt, South City of Nuremberg, is a very, very dense part, and that is where the people are living. On the other side, there's a shopping area. So really, that is more or less the entrance for the people of Nuremberg, and this is the center, new center, bring a new center, a new place. And then we do a green center, and when we do the center going down, we go down for 1.5 meters to create an amphitheater, something to have a protected area. And so we have a space that brings life inside, and you can watch from the benches and from the steps down what's happened here with children playing, or with also normal people are play or do something, or laying, or interact of the meadow, do something. And so we create a space with all the green elements, but also with all the street pavement and pedestrian pavement with one pavement material. But we have on the station, on the road, on the station, we have 15,000 cars per day. But it works. We have buses here, but it works. And we create a new bicycle garage here on the left-hand side. Works this? No. On the left-hand side, so you have a big bicycle garage, and so we create a new space for Nuremberg, a new center, a new point of identity, and the open area in the backside is the area for coffee kiosk, coffee building, but we look special for coffee, not for alcohol, to create really also a space for the neighborhood, for children, for families, and not for the people maybe are coming from the station. Next, also square, in front of the museum, Bavarian National Museum. This space in front here, this was in the past, it was a parking area, full of cars. And then we created an area for this very, very, very interesting building, a building with Peter von Seidlin is the architect, with different styles in his building. And in front, the square was much more bigger in the past, but then comes the road and destroyed this. But it was always in front, it was a sunken garden. And we take this theme of the sunken garden and make a slope down, and then stairs up, to create more space in front of this tower, of this building. And also we create for the structure, for the stripes, for the hedges. The hedges are on the street sides are wider and higher, and on the side to the building where there are the stairs are lower and smaller. And so we created a perspective, and a solution that the space is bigger and so working with the architecture makes the architecture more imposant, more great in front of this building. And then we started. The second project was then to create the courtyard in connecting with the building and with the museum, with the exhibitions in the museum, and creates this stone parterre as a form together with the building to create a story with the building, a strong concept. And we have some multifunctional square in the center. Urban planning. We are landscape architect and urban planner. And urban planning is so important because if you're defining the edges of a space for the building, and this is a good proportion, this is a 50 or 70% of the landscape architecture. But if the space, if a good space and the edges of the space are correct, then between the space works. And so we're doing landscape architecture and urban planning. We are not in landscape architecture, nicht urban planning and architecture, sondern landscape architecture and landscape and urban planning and landscape architecture. We work always together with architects, but we are working together from the first sketches. And the architect comes from his vision of the building, and we are coming from the vision of the green and from landscape. And this works together. This brings very, very good results, and also in the last 20 years we do this, or 30 years, and good results. So this project is 40 hectares, and we have, sometimes it works. Sometimes it works. So we have on the here's the highway. We have noise protection. Business row on the highway. Then we have on the points, we have two high-rise buildings. There's 100 meters and there's 80 meters on the other side. And then we have on the other side, we have also points with business use, and then we have residential on the backside. In the middle, we have a big park. A park gives a big building space. We have on the right side, we have 20 meters or 25 meters. Left-hand side, we have the towers and until 35 meters. In the middle, we have this park. And so that's the solution was, what is this park? And we have at first, we have big trees. And then we have, in the big trees, we're creating theme gardens. You see on the left-hand side, different theme gardens. I show it later what it is. On the right-hand side, we have a road, but a road with pavement. This is not an asphalt road. This is a paved road with a structure and big trees. And you see, then we create this pergolas. 10 by 10 by 10 meters, and these pergolas are to create a human scale in relationship to the buildings outside. We have 10 pergolas, 10 buildings, 10 by 10 meters, in relationship together with the theme gardens. And the theme gardens telling a story. From the high-rise building, you look to the mountains, to the Alps, And everybody who is sitting in this building look to the south and say, oh, now I'm sitting in the building. This landscape is so beautiful. Why I am not in this landscape? And so telling a story. Each of the gardens telling this story about the landscapes between Munich and the Alps. So we have a field garden, we have the forest garden, we have the garden of the rolling hills of the Alpen, so landscape before the mountains. Then we have a Bergsee, the gravel garden from the mountains. Then we have the field garden, and we have different in the pavilions different plants in relationship to the theme gardens. And so we have a story from different theme gardens. This is a mountain lake garden. It's all flowers, all plants are flowering blue, and there's a mountain lake garden. So we're telling a story. And so we're bringing a strong identity in this park. The people coming to go, oh, we're going to the gravel garden, we're going to the rock garden, we're going to the field garden, and sitting there is identity. And so all the business is about 15,000 business workers here around. They're in the breaks in this park, and this is a big identity for the whole development. Is this park, and this is very, very important. This is sketches of what we're doing. There's lake gardens of how we do it, and so. And this time we make a redesign of one square in the front. And why we do redesign? Because the left-hand side is a center, it's a German center of Amazon, and the headquarters. On the right-hand side is Microsoft. In the middle here is a hotel building. And so they're deciding we make an urban center, new urban center with new shops in the Amazon buildings. And so we have a new center with new green square. That's directly from the table we are designing this last week. So it's not with trees, a lot of trees, with climate trees. With climate trees, this means trees, they are responsible with climate change, with more heat, with less water, and special graminees with market possibility of the yellow one. This are market cars, something like this. So it's also a vivid structure. Killesberg, Stuttgart. That's was a very special project. This was not a competition. This was the mayor of Stuttgart come to us and said to us, we give you a contract. You have to design me a park never in the world is existing. So it was a very special task. And the site was very complicated because the site before was the fair of Stuttgart. It's full with halls and conference centers and something like this. And then the fair going to the airport, and this area was open. So, and one part should be new residential area, and in the middle a big park. The first thing what we were doing, what was done was the white was the new buildings on the right side. The right is the Academy of Art. But this one is a new urban structure. We're developing the architects with Ortner and Ortner together. Left-hand side is our buildings in the same scale as the existing buildings. So we're working with the existing structures on both sides of the center in the middle. On the right side, this is a very famous Bauhaus Hilton with buildings from Gropius, Mies van der Rohe, and Marstam. So it's very nice. So in the middle, we see the red lines. We're healing the landscape. First thing, we're healing the landscape. If you look to the back, that was all full with this fair buildings, and this was demolished. And after this, we're healing the landscape and doing the same structure of the contour lines and the slope downs, and try to get the structures from both sides, healing the landscape. Second, how to come to concept. So we have, okay, what we're doing there, and what is how we come to the idea that is something what is never have before. We have different solutions with gardens, with openings, with hard edges and soft edges, and with waves and something like this. And then coming the idea to work with the site. So and that's go very back. You see a very strong topography always here around. The one topic was therefore because it was before it was a quarry, and all the stone material for the old city of Stuttgart coming from this site. So it was a landscape, wasn't before it was an industrial landscape, so it was a quarry, and the people take out the stones. And it's something to do something in the landscape. Take the stones out. That we show this something like to take a knife and going in a wooden structure and take something out. And so there's the same. We make some slides in the landscape, and so coming this structure. And then I was in Guatemala by the big old cities of Maya, and you're on a rainforest and see all hills, and under the hills are the old temples. And it's the same, like we're doing the structure and the hills, and so to show that something's under the earth, something man-made is under the hills. And so we create this landscape with this path you have the path of time, and the yellow one is you have no time, and that's the structure of the buildings. And then this is the topography, and then we're doing this with the metal pillars, and we create a two-level park. And the interesting thing is that we have the two levels, and the people are in this park. And if you are looking in this park, you see the people only until here. And then you have no relationship for the scale. Who far is he? He's very small. Who far is he? Because you have another perception. And so it's very interesting. So that's to see the people in the park, to watching the people in the park in the new scale. You get the relationship where we are. And all the footpaths are not going from one point to other points anymore. So it's something like a maze, and so you can watching the people how they're walking, and so that's the thing is that's in the new housing area. There's a bakery, and the bakery are rented picnic baskets with picnic elements, with bottle of wine, and with big not a carpet. And then people sitting on the hills doing picnic and watching the other people. So that's like a big stage. The whole park is a big stage, and so it's and it is so it's totally sustainable because all the rainwater from the new housing areas we collect in the cisterns and use this for the small water ditch and for the irrigation of the whole park. So it's a sustainable and a new park with a strong identity, and also the new residential area is something with a new Bauhaus development with famous architects, Christiansen and Ordner and Schipperfield. All they built buildings there, and so it's like a collection. And in the inside of this new residential, you have all big square, new square with old fruit trees, and from the spaces, and paved areas that we get all the strong identity also in this area. Then something, and very funny, Peter talked about London, and years ago, as Boris Johnson was the mayor of London, and there was the opening of the London pavilion by the MIPIM. MIPIM is a big real estate fair in Cannes every year. And I was in the opening, I was direct behind Boris Johnson. And we were talking before about London and urban development and something like this. And then he said to me, maybe we have to bring back the village in the city. And then he started his speech, and then he started with his words. We have to bring back the village in the city. And I think that is very important. See, that's this idea. And this is what we have done here. we have bring the village back in the city, because it was an old military area with a lot of existing trees. All the trees, what you see, are existing trees, and we keep these trees, of course, and protect this. And then in the gaps between, we create villages, a mixture of residential buildings with 5 to 7 stories, with city villas, with row houses, and with carpet buildings, bungalow settlement, like something like this. And this create, we have the different form of villages. And you see the thing the competition was 2009. Now it's last year it's now finished this project. On the right side you see the structure of the buildings, always with this mixture of these 4 different kind of building structures. And then each of this village has a wall around. And so really to get the structure of the village. This is the side. This side here, and you see the structure of the different types of buildings. And then you see the heights of the different buildings. And then you see the infrastructure. And that's very important because I have beginning said streets and squares and the green as the identity. And you see the streets are all the streets without exit. It's only for the streets, only for the neighborhood. And we have no traffic in this area, only for the traffic we have a big garage. Each of the villages has a big garage. And then the yellow one is internal footpaths. We have no traffic in these different villages. But in the center, we have a big square with a possibility for urban gardening, for play, so as a center, and so that we really create a neighborhood for each village, their own neighborhood. And this was a basic structure, and then we have different developers, and on this basic, different architects, and different, so we're getting more diversity in the structure of the different villages. And then the city of Munich decided that this, what you see now in the red color, is a settlement, a first settlement for Germany. All buildings are in wood hybrid architecture. So we have really 7-story high buildings in wooden construction. And you see this, it's on different buildings, but now it's to talk about different architecture. It's too far, but we're talking about public open space. But you see what you can do to work together with architects and landscape architects, create a new settlement, a new area for vivid life in the city. So, last project now, very fresh. Last 2 weeks ago was the opening. Surf Town Munich. So that's it's an artificial lake, 200 meters, and 80 meters wide. And what is this Surf Town Munich? So that's the problem is, I think that's nearby the airport. And you see that this is an old, where the red point is, that is an old business park. The business park created at the same time as the airport was built, 1990. And now that this business park is now 30 years old and has no attraction, no identity. No one will become new in this business park. So with the mayor and we comes the idea, we do something new, a new attraction inside. And so it's coming the idea to create this surf town Munich. And the surf town Munich is that we have an artificial generator. The generator produces waves. And it can, to the same time, can until 40 surfers be inside, and we have waves until 2 meters height. And this is a big event, you can see it now here. And this was a German championship last week. And left-hand side, you see the black one, this wave generator. And then there's a building with restaurants and with facilities. And then there's big lakes, artificial lake, and we have very high waves. This is a very high, strong attraction for Munich, and a point of identity, a point of destination, and so it's a point of a new form of public open space. The watching is free. Everybody can go to there. If you want to surf, you have to pay. So that's the thing. So, okay, thank you, that was.
Dear Professor, thank you very much for your fantastic work shared with us. Personally, I am very sorry that you don't have time to go in deep your projects and discussing the problems of the German cities, and especially Munich, that it's an extraordinary example of landscape planning and urban planning, and the fact that Munich public spaces are structured with a clear focus on green infrastructure and social interaction. So that it's a very, very important thing that you follow in your projects. Because I suppose there will not be questions from the public, I can address a very short question. What lessons can cities like Iași, for example, can learn from your strategies for creating urban environments that balance functionality, sustainability, and the needs of rapidly expanding population or growth from your experience? Because I suppose the public want to learn directly from your examples how they can interact with the city and how they can implement urban planning and landscaping planning projects in a city like Iași, for example, who have a lot of natural elements and so on, and a very important architectural heritage also.
You have to create the consciousness about that's the point. That's we have to talk with the mayor or with the city parliament about this. No. And then that has to be one point that creates this. And the second thing is we have to mobilize the inhabitants. And the point is that mostly inhabitants don't know about this. So that's we have to create also about that. Iași is a living space, a home of this people, and that we have to. And they have create a conscious that is a home, and everybody has to be responsible for this home, and that means that we are also then go from the down to the top. They have more green, more squares, more streets with a high quality and with a good design, and that is really then a living space for Iași.
Thank you very much. So, there is a question. Please, Răzvan, please.
It means the topsoil. What you mean? That's okay. That's also something you are developing strong regulations, guidelines. You need for trees enough topsoil that they're growing, and you need enough topsoil that the parks are growing, and you have management, sustainable management of the water. That's also very important. It's all a circulation. A circulation of water management, of climate management, of soil management, and that we have really then sustainable parks in the city. But this has to bring it by the city parliament to the responsible people that we need this, and that's important. And also that's green is very important. That's green. The best thing over there talk about Barcelona. Barcelona changed the city, because Barcelona was for 30 or 40 years ago was an industrial city, and nobody wanted to go to Barcelona. And then they changed the city because all factories going out of Barcelona, this area was not rebuilt with buildings, it was rebuilt with green, and with new squares and with new streets. And so the opening from the city to the sea was the second thing, that the harbor going outside. but through this changing the structure of the city. Young people come to the city. The new young people, the city coming the business to the city, new forms of business. And then the income of the city will be more and more, and the attraction from the city will be more and more. So it's really a circulation, but you have to start about this.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor.
I do have
the
a
last
really,
question.
I do have a really short question for you for the first presentation of Mr. Peter. You presented, I wrote down the question, so I'm going to read it to you. Your presentation really touched a sensitive problem of our city as well. I don't know if you had the chance to walk around our city. At the moment, we are suffocated by cars as well, and the project that you presented are, let's say, an ideal solution for our public spaces as well. My question is regards the subject. How do you see the problem of the existing cars that are not just disappearing, maybe they are just moved to another part of the city? How can we avoid to diminish the quality of the other parts of the city by moving our cars to those spaces? Or how do you and your team view this topic when you develop a new project?
It was for you, the question. So, related to the cars. What we can do with the cars? Moving where?
What can you do with the cars? Yes, I realized when I was watching your presentation that I see landscape as a political act as well as a way of improving the experience of the city. Where do you put the cars? You actually get rid of most of them. And you get rid of most of them by, we have at a moment, as I was saying, a policy that more people travel by public transport, more people travel by cycling, more people travel by walking. And so the aim is that that should be 80% of all journeys. Then, for instance, if we have autonomous vehicles, then you'll need many, many fewer vehicles on the road because we have to have a situation where we share vehicles. We don't all own a vehicle which is going to sit for 90% of its time, sit on the side of the road. So it's a much more efficient, much more sustainable use of road space. And we also can change a lot of the ways we, for instance, I said that one of our problems in London is that we had a congestion charge which stopped cars coming in, but that space is now filled by Amazon delivering packages to everybody in small vans. With very little additional infrastructure, all those packages could be delivered either by a cargo bike, or they could also, you could plan better pickup points where people actually click and collect their goods. So I think there are a lot of mechanisms for reducing the number of vehicles you need. The problem is convincing people who are motorists that they need to change their habits. And I think one of the key things we haven't talked about much, which is really important, is that active travel is a healthy way to live in cities. And health in cities should be really significant, particularly in a period where we're seeing growing pressure on health services, that people should get out, they should be jogging, walking, cycling, doing all those sort of things, be more active and live longer and healthier.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, before closing this panel, let me, because I prepared a lot of things, maybe we have the opportunity next time to discuss, because your presentation were very, very interesting. Let me conclude with one sentence, let's say. So, the public spaces remain at the heart of urban development. That we agree. And this balance, this duality between public and private space that we can ensure to the future of our cities is not only successful, but also inclusive, resilient, and sustainable. So thank you very much for your lessons. Thank you very much for your presence here in Iași, in Romania. And I hope to see all of you next time in Iași, but also in Bucharest, in our School of Architecture, where we have a Faculty of Urban Planning and Landscape Planning also. So thank you very much. Thank you resting for us in this evening. And that was the session. Thank you very much.
If you could stay a few moments longer. Thank you very much for your presentations and for all this for the debate and answering the questions. Thank you all for staying here so late and following every discussion. I think it was very interesting festival. That's what we were aiming for it to be filled with a lot of topics and a lot of activities. So this kind of concludes Must 24 Dual, Must 24 Dual. And I would like in the end to thank all the speakers who came in front of us, all the people in the audience, all our partners, our sponsors, and in the end I would like to thank my colleagues for helping me and for being a team, and also Alina, Cristina, and Julia, who are, I think, at home by now. But thank you, everybody, and it would be really nice if the speakers could come up stage, and maybe some of the volunteers, if they're still here, for us to take a final photo. We kind of do this. I know it's kind of cheesy, but it's a tradition. So if you would please take to the stage, and also the opening, the closing would be held by Alin Hoblea, President of OARE Iași. So,
Bună seara! Bună seara, bună seara! Nu-mi revine decât marea plăcere să vă mulțumesc încă o dată pentru participarea tuturor, să mulțumesc invitaților, speakerilor, să vă rog pe toți să veniți pentru poza finală. Mulțumim!